Supercon. How are you guys feeling? So much better. All right, without any further ado, let's bring up the lady of the hour, the one, the only, Judith Hoag! Are you like walking up the stairs getting complimented? Is that what's happening?
And loving it. Who doesn't love to be complimented? You know, let me tell you something. One of the greatest things, and actually I learned this from Debbie Reynolds, is how many people get complimented and then throw it back? Like somebody tells you look great and you're like, nah, I don't. Yes, you do. Take their word for it. Take the compliment in your heart. You know, so many, and then we'll get it, but I just have to say this. You know, like, people will take criticism to the grave. Like, somebody says something mean, and, like, you'll take it to the grave with you. Please, if you're going to do that, will you take the compliments, too? Take it with you. Life is challenging. If somebody loves you, let it in. Okay, anyway.
Well, you do look great.
Thank you.
And all of you guys look great, too.
Yeah, we do. This is a beautiful room.
It is.
Beautiful people in a beautiful room.
Yeah. Well, thank you
and
so
you're
much.
gorgeous.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You are. She is gorgeous.
That's my parents clapping. They're like, we made that. We did that. Thank you,
Right?
parental units.
Fruit does not fall far from the tree.
Thank you. They waited 42 years before they had me, so yeah, it was...
Whoops.
Right? Was it a whoops? Either way, welcome to Fort Lauderdale. How has your weekend been so far?
Really amazing. Amazing. You know, I live in LA and we do have an ocean there, but the ocean here, you've got the, I don't want to say the better, it's like a Woody Allen movie, the Atlantic Ocean is a better ocean than the Pacific Ocean. Anyone who's seen Radio Days knows that reference. But the water here is so warm, and the beach, though, it's a different kind of sand. And I'm very fortunate. I have they put me in a lovely hotel with an ocean view, and so I wake up and I see that, and I am filled with gratitude.
I
really
saw the
am.
picture you posted, too.
Yeah.
It was a good picture. I was like, I want to go there.
It's a great view.
Right?
Yeah.
Is this your first time here down at Fort Lauderdale for a Supercon?
I'm trying to, okay, how far is Cape Canaveral from here?
Like, it's
About 2 hours. What would be the airport you'd fly into? For Orlando? Okay. So yes, first time Fort Lauderdale. I couldn't remember. I shot Armageddon, and we shot at Cape Canaveral, which was thrilling. But that was, oh gosh, I don't know. Was that like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that? So, no, I've been to many parts of Florida, but never to Fort Lauderdale. I shall be back.
I like to think Fort Lauderdale is pretty much the best, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like perpetual spring break for you guys. Although, you know, when you live here, you're like, no, not really.
No, I always like to say, like, I live where everyone vacations, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Party land.
Absolutely.
Party land.
Okay, so just to segue a little bit, I guess my first question to you would be, what's your favorite type of pizza?
You know it's coming.
Right?
Oh my God. God, what's your favorite? We have this thing. Like, we've had this pizza conversation. Everybody, like, if you are in a group and you are like, okay, who wants one on their pizza? It's like a major fight. Because everybody has to have their thing on their pizza. Okay, cut to the pizza shows. Everybody eats whatever shows up. With maybe they don't want the anchovies on it, or maybe they want it all veggie or just meat or something. But for the most part, no. Are you? Maybe it's just me then.
Are you a pineapple pizza girl?
I will eat a Hawaiian pizza.
Right.
Yes.
Whoa.
I will happily eat a Hawaiian pizza. I actually, strangely enough, I'm not a huge pepperoni fan. I can kind of take it or leave it.
Okay, this audience is like
it, but I will leave it too.
They're like with you. This is like your crowd right now.
These are my people. I can feel the love.
I've never seen a Hawaiian pizza audience in my life, and that's you gues.
Really?
You're the Hawaiian pizza audience.
Pizza
Congratulations.
kills it.
This is it.
Are you kidding? we pretty much will take pineapple on about anything, and ham. Hi. I know.
Okay, well, hopefully, like in like guest services, they'll have some good pizza for you with lots of ham and lots of
I'm actually
pineapple
not supposed to be doing the carbs, but if it's a good enough pizza, I will walk for that. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So you were the very first April O'Neil to be portrayed in the movies.
Yes. Lucky me.
Lucky you. And from what I read, you almost turned down the role of April.
Well, I didn't almost turn down the role of April. I really wanted to do it, but I was doing a movie with Robin Williams at the time called Cadillac Man. And they were trying to make the dates work. So I got the role and I was so excited. And then it was like, well, but the dates aren't working out. So we don't think that you can do it. And legend has it, they cast somebody else. And then when then they made the dates work out. And then I think that person had the job and then lost the job over about a week's span. So no, I didn't turn it down. I was a little, like, I didn't watch the cartoon, so I really didn't know what it was. But it was such a sweet story. It was such a wonderful script, and I was really excited to do it. And as soon as I heard that Jim Henson and the Creature Shop was involved with this, I was like, I'm in. I don't even know what a Ninja Turtle is, but I'm about to find out. I really didn't. I was like, not a clue. Had no idea that it was a cartoon. Had no idea that it was a comic book. Prior to that, Then once I learned about it, I was like, oh, there's a whole world here that I've known nothing about.
Sure.
So then I got to be part of it.
What was your experience like working with the puppets?
It was amazing, but it created a deep empathy because it was really, okay, we shot in Wilmington, North Carolina in the summertime. The heat and the humidity are insane. And these costumes are you can barely see, you can barely breathe. They're very heavy because there's a whole servo pack in the shell. And so the guys were like getting dehydrated. They were passing out. They were losing, like, seriously, like every fluid was coming out of their body and into those suits. So they take the suit off, and the suit was just like, it weighed 60 pounds more with just their body fluid in it. And there were times, though, where the guys, like, if you didn't, like, control your breathing and, like, stay really calm, if it got really hot or they were moving around a lot, it would be hard to breathe. And there were times where a turtle head would get ripped off. And that was a big deal because there was a lot of electronic stuff in there. And that was now no bueno. That was done. Yeah. And that's why they had the Creature Shop there, because they were constantly manufacturing new parts and then putting everything into it. We also had a ton of stunt turtles. We had a lot of stuntmen who flew in from Hong Kong. And so they were constantly being put into these turtle suits and then, fight enough in latex, and it just starts shredding. So that was like the most fun to go play. Those guys were super fun. And they had a good bar there. And so you'd go into the Creature Shop and just hang out and watch them do their thing. And a lot of the puppeteers were all guys from Sesame Street. So it was a dream job.
I can't even
It was a dream
imagine.
job. Yeah. And the fact that we're here almost 30 years later is like ridiculous.
For sure. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, come on. Ninja Turtles, and especially the first movie, which is my favorite. I mean, I feel like it's so incredibly iconic.
Thank you.
You are our childhood. Like Ninja Turtles, I mean, at least for me. What about you guys?
I'm very fortunate. I hear that a lot. It never gets old because I will tell you, I didn't know that. Like, I did not know that. It really was, I'm an actress, so I'm recognized a lot, like a lot. And that's, people are very respectful and they're very nice. And it's, Debbie Reynolds taught me, like, if you don't have fans, you don't have a career. So I've always been, like, really grateful to have, you showed up in a room. I don't know if there's going to be one person or three people or a bunch of people. And so you definitely, want to give back to them. But it wasn't until I started coming to conventions and I really got a chance. I love when people come to my table. Anyone who's been to my table knows I take time with people. I want to know who you are. I want to know where you live. I want to know what you're up to. Because it's a circle. We give, we take, we do, the whole thing. And I did not know how much this movie meant to people. I didn't know. And I've had people come up and cry and tell me stories about really challenging situations when they were little that the movie helped them through. I remember when we first did the movie, I was asked if I would go to Los Angeles Children's Hospital because there was a little 3-year-old boy who had leukemia, and every day he put on a different turtle mask, all the different colors, and that's how he was going to beat his leukemia, by being a Ninja Turtle. And so they said, would you come and visit him? And I said, yes. And they said, well, would you dress up like April? I was like, yes. Okay. So cut to, the movie's been open maybe a couple months and it's a smash. So if you went to Toys R Us, they had like entire aisles filled with toys. So I'm on my way to Children's Hospital dressed as April O'Neil, and I decide I'm going to stop by Toys R Us dressed as April O'Neil.
Oh, no.
Buying Ninja Turtle toys. Not so smart. It was like really kind of getting mobbed. And also the cynical part of me is like, oh, desperate for attention. Like, it's like, what are you doing dressed as your character hanging out in Toys R Us? But it was very sweet. And he was the cutest little kid. And it's all on him. It's not on me, but he's still alive. And he lived and thrives and went through college, and he's now almost, he's 27 years old, 26 years old, something like that. Wow. So it's really cool. So I had no idea, and I am floored. Like, really, I cried everything. So trust me, if we talk about it too much, I'll start crying.
Okay.
It's really sweet. I so appreciate it.
So, okay. When I went to college, I liked to karaoke a lot. And, I would sing just some random song. And I had a friend that every week would sing the theme song. He would sing Turtle Power. I was wondering if you know any of the lyrics from Turtle Power.
Oh, shoot. Somewhere I have a cassette of the music. You guys would have to start me. It's like,
do you guys remember it?
It's what?
Well, that's the theme song. Well, we can do that one too.
What was it?
It's like TURTLE Power, Teenage Mutant Ninja on a half shell.
The guy, what was his name?
It's Crime Time, right?
Crime Time.
Yeah.
I met him at a con a couple of years ago. Talk about the sweetest guy on the planet. But he was blasting the music, and I swear I hadn't heard that music since the movie. Because unlike you, I haven't really watched it that many times. Although I'm gonna go back and watch.
You should. It's a great movie. You should check it out sometime.
I recommend it. Should I go watch that movie?
Yeah, highly recommend.
No, I'll go watch it.
What about from, the comic book, the iconic yellow jumpsuit? Was there a reason that they chose not to put you in the outfit in the film?
It didn't occur to them. What? You're kidding me, right? Did not occur to them until we were deep into shooting. And then, I don't know. It's like, I don't know why. I don't know why. And then at some point they said, oh, she has to have her yellow jumpsuit. Okay. So they wrote an alternate ending, and instead of making a jumpsuit, they found this sad little white jumpsuit that kind of was, I think, about 2 sizes too small. It was not pretty. And put me in it, dyed it yellow, put me in it, and we all went, wah, wah. That doesn't look like the April jumpsuit. But we shot it, and I think that, I don't know if it's in any of the versions of the DVD that's been released in this country, but I know that it is. There's a European version. And it's there, and there's also commentary by Steve Barron. And I know that Kevin Eastman is trying to get that released, so I need to look into that, and then I might need all your help so that we can get it released here, and we can see what that is. And hear his commentary, because I bet it's really interesting.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
So how would you feel about taking some questions from the audience? Is that all right with you?
I would love that.
Okay.
I would love that.
Oh, we're clapping for that. Yeah, we can clap for that. They just like clapping for you.
Awesome. I'm going to let you pick, though.
Oh, well, we have a microphone right out in front.
Oh, perfect. Come on up.
So if you guys have your questions, is anything off limits? Anything we want to stay away from? Or
no.
Okay.
I am an open book.
Awesome. So
I am an open book.
I encourage you now. I know it's a little intimidating because it's like right down in front, but any questions?
You can also, if you want, you can just yell out from your seat. I think we can. Aw, see? Was that a question? No. Thank you. Awesome.
All right.
What's your name?
Handsome.
Well, thanks.
He took the compliment. There we go.
Right? You took a compliment.
All right. So, what was the relationship with this guy?
Oh.
While
In the filming?
Yes. Stop looking at my butt.
There's not.
You have
I know,
to show them
right?
because they can't see what you're holding up
When
right
you have
now.
a butt that good. Elias Koteas, people think it's Elias. He's the one who pronounces it Elias. Talk about a sweet man. Really shy. I don't know that he's really done. I think he's done maybe 1 or 2 Comic-Cons, and I would give anything to go do Comic-Cons with him because he's really sweet. He's such a talented actor. He looked, I don't know if you guys saw this, but with his long hair, he was like a dead ringer for Robert De Niro, like a young De Niro.
Yeah.
Go back and look.
All right.
He really does. Back in like De Niro in the 70s. Really generous, really sweet. We went out a lot and had dinner. And drank great wine.
Nice.
And played a lot. Like, we had a lot of fun. That whole set was fun. There was not, it was hot and frustrating sometimes, but it was fun.
And I have one more 2-part question.
Okay.
What was it like working with the man Robin Williams? And who was your favorite turtle?
Okay. We'll start with the first question.
Okay.
Working with Robin Williams was a huge honor. I learned a tremendous amount from him. When you're an actor, they have something called off-camera acting. So, like, if we're shooting your close-up, the camera's going to be shooting over my shoulder, or shooting from my perspective to you. So it's just on you. And as an actor, I need to be giving you just as much when the camera's not on me, because it's on you, because I want to help your performance. I want to be here for you. And Robin would do 100 to 150% off camera. Like, he was still inventing and he was still doing. Not everybody does that. And there was actually other people in that movie who phoned it in. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Is this an inconvenience for you to be off camera? It's like, where it's it's a give and take. It's a collaborative art form. And Robin would show up and bam. And it really was great because it put everybody on notice. It was like, we will not be phoning it in because that is Robin Williams. And he never phones it in. So that was the first, and he was like my second cup of coffee every morning. I'd be in the makeup trailer, and the women always have to come in earlier because it takes us so much longer. We have hair and makeup and, and men just come in and they're done. And so Robin would just fly into that makeup trailer and be like, and he was always trying out new stand-up routines on us. And we were like, we ate it for breakfast. So yes, I really loved him. And he was also a Ninja Turtle fan. He kind of gave me the credibility on the set, because I was running off and to do Ninja Turtles. I was shooting both movies at the same time. And he would say, where are you going? It's like, you're out of here at the first shot. You have them shoot you out, and then you're gone. I'm like, I'm hopping on a plane and I'm shooting another movie. And he was like, what movie? And I was so embarrassed. I was like, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he went, what? And I said, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know, you probably know. And he went, they're making a movie of that? I have the first comic book. Are you April? Yes.
Yeah.
And he brought his family to the premiere.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I mean, it was so. And the fact that we lost him is such a tragedy. Mm-hmm. Talk about a great human being. That man was a great human being. He had all kinds of demons to wrestle with, and he wrestled for as long as he could. You know, and then sometimes you stop wrestling. But I'm blessed to have known him. And we're all like, that we got to see his art. And, you know, we're lucky. We're lucky.
Can you remember the second part of my question?
Okay. It's kind of like asking a mom which child is her favorite.
I need the answer.
I know. I loved them all. Mm-hmm. And Raphael saved my life.
Really?
Oh, was that the wrong answer? Who were you when you were growing up?
Hello, Rachel. Mikey.
Mikey's so sweet. I mean, it really is. It's like trying to pick your favorite kid. I mean, they were so special in their way. Donatello and Michelangelo, when they were together, were hilarious. You know, Raph was always like, rah, 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 rah. But I loved Josh Pais, who played the character, and we had such fun, and we're still friends. And then David Foreman, who played Leonardo. I mean, come on. Yeah. So it's a little tough one.
Okay.
But I love them all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Come on, baby.
Hi.
Hi.
Little nervous.
That's okay.
Halloweentown. All
Yes.
of the movies are my favorite.
Love
But
it.
Calabar's Revenge, when you turned the golden dad, Calabar's fake dad,
Right.
into a frog, do you remember the spell?
No. Do you remember the spell?
I kind of do, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I was hoping you did.
Give me the spell and I'll pronounce it.
Oh, I can't
It's
remember
something
how to
like,
pronounce
I
it.
don't remember.
Google it.
Google it. I do remember, though, that it was like, that is a pile of frogs. That is a big pile of frogs. That was actually an interesting movie because I turned into a monster. And so we had to do a prosthetic for me. And so I had to go to a special effects. We did it before the movie shot. And I went to a special effects studio in Van Nuys or something in California. And if you've ever done one of those, like you're from the shoulder, about mid-chest here, up, you are covered in plaster of Paris. And you can't see, and you have little things to breathe out of, and you can't move. If you have any claustrophobia or anything like that, you are so screwed. And fortunately, I didn't. But I started thinking about it. What I started thinking about was like, I wonder if there was an earthquake. Like, what would I do? Like, I can't see and I can't move. Would they remember that I'm here? Because people kind of freak out in earthquakes. And then all of a sudden, my heart started pounding. I was like, oh, come on, don't. Oh. Whoa. And I started like getting nervous and I went, okay, that's interesting. Stop. And like got my heart rate to go down. But it was really fun to wear the mask. And I still have it and I pull it out at Halloween. I have scared more neighborhood children. It is so fun. My house at Halloween was always a good house to come to. We were full-size candy bar people. We weren't screwing around. Right?
Okay, we're all coming to your house on Halloween
Right?
this year.
And then I moved on for a while to individual bags of like chips and stuff because I figured you're eating all this candy and then you need a little salt before you go back to your candy. But I had one kid come to the door and go, chips? Chips? Took the bag and threw it. I was like, okay, happy Halloween. Entitled little child. Have you found it?
No, so thank you though.
Okay.
Oh, now I want to know the spell.
That's okay. I don't.
How long does it take to like actually do a full-on prosthetic?
That took a couple hours. A couple hours. Yeah. Well, they've got it. You got to get in there. They have to kind of lube you up because it's got to come off easy. Then they have to plaster you down, and then it takes. Well, maybe it's not a couple hours. Maybe it's an hour. Feels like a couple hours. Feels like a day. But it was pretty cool.
That's great.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really cool to have it. To like, I had the teeth. The only thing I didn't get were the contacts. Man, those hurt. I don't wear contacts. For anybody who does the contacts, does it feel exactly like someone just put sand in your eyes? Yes. It's awful. And they were like, and I was like, okay, they said, just relax. I said, I relaxed. And then they were fine. They said, well, what we could do is we could take them in and out after every take. I was like, oh, no. Once these puppies are in, they're staying in until they have to come out. Go ahead, ask. Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
You too. So going into Halloweentown, what was your favorite scene and like between all the movies, if you want to think of it like that way, that you were in and also that you weren't in?
Well, I was really jealous that I didn't get to fly on a broomstick the way that Debbie and Kimberly did. I was like, what? I want to fly. It was interesting because when I first started that movie, Gwen was such a mean mom. And I had kind of I didn't love that. Like I was like, I want to do magic and be fun. And I wasn't. And it was really interesting. The very first day of shooting, oh my God. Okay, so the way the character was described in the script is that she was kind of a Martha Stewart kind of person. So my image of Martha Stewart is like perfection, right? So everything looks perfect and you're dressed perfect. No. So I get to my wardrobe fitting and it's really horrifying clothes and they don't really fit. So they tailor them in and everything. So I get to set, it's the first day. I'm trying on my wardrobe and nothing fit. It was like they took it in too much and it was weird and nothing. It was like, oh my God, Gwen has camel toe. I mean, it's just terrible. And then I went in and it was like, okay, we'll work this out in hair and makeup. And then I ended up with this like horrifying hairstyle. And I went to the director and I was like, this is not at all how I imagined this character. At all. And that's a little upsetting because you're like, these aren't jibing for me. So I walked to the director and he took one look at me and he went, oh, what happened? And I said, I know. Can we fix this? And he then explained that we couldn't because there was somebody who was overseeing it who had more say than him. And he's like, you're fine. And I went back to my trailer and I thought, I don't actually want to leave my trailer looking like this. Like I'm embarrassed. Like I feel terrible. And I went, okay, this is not working. You have a job. Your job is to tell the story. Who are you? Now, fortunately, I've trained for a long time and this business is really kind of challenging. So there are times when you have to like psych yourself back in because there's a lot of things that throw you out. And, take like Christian Bale, someone's in a sightline and he flips out. It's like, you're not supposed to do that. You have to like manage yourself. So I went into my trailer and I went, okay, so nothing looks right. Nothing feels right. Well, in the story, I'm a witch who's pretending to be a human, and I'm lying to my kids about who they are and about who I am. So, yeah, I'm doing a really bad job of pretending to be human and that I'm not telling the truth of who I am. So maybe nothing fits. Maybe I'm really awkward at this, and so I wouldn't look like a really together human because I don't really know how to do that very well. And then once I landed on that, I was like, I can work with this. I can totally work with this. And then I was like, bam, I'm out of that trailer. I'm ready to go to the set and I can work. And then with each film, it was really interesting because the character just took a journey of like getting more comfortable with herself. And doing magic, but I couldn't wait. I was like, please let me do magic. Please let me do magic. So
Thanks.
thank you. Oh, so favorite scene? I don't know. My favorite scene. I have to say, any scene with Debbie Reynolds. I just loved working with her. I crazy loved working with her. And she would share stories of she told me stories about working with Betty Davis. And
I think she told me that same story when I met her, because I had told you
Really?
at the table, she was just going story after story, because it was
yeah.
backstage at her cabaret, and only
yeah.
I think maybe 3 of us were backstage. So it was, I think we were with her for a good 25
Right,
minutes, and
right.
I'm just like,
She's super
I'm
generous.
talking to Debbie Reynolds. It was
Yeah, and she's super chill.
Oh yeah,
She's like talking to a girlfriend.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. But
She taught me so much.
Halloweentown was that's my go-to on
Right.
Halloween. All of October, it's okay, first week, first movie, second movie.
Right.
But yeah,
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Anybody else?
We have about 10 minutes left. So
Okay, we have ask the burning question. What's the question you don't think you can ask?
What's the question that you don't think you can answer?
Ooh. Here we go. All right. Right on.
Here we go.
Hi, my
I
friend.
grew up watching you too.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. You were in the first one, obviously. Why weren't you in the other 2 and 3? I don't know why.
All right, so
'cause
you're
I'm
asking the question.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Honestly, I was fired. They fired my ass. And, here's the thing. There were some things that happened on the set that weren't copacetic. People were getting injured. What I didn't understand is that there was a different culture of the way that martial arts is done in Hong Kong than the way it's done here. In Hong Kong, the culture was you're doing the movie, you get injured, you're out, next guy in. Well, that's not how it works here. People are supposed to be on the set, everybody's supposed to be safe. If you get hurt, you're supposed to get medical attention. You're not just kind of put on a plane back to Hong Kong. And there were things like that because it was a production company doing their first American movie, so I was trying to, say this is not cool, and there were certain things that were happening, and I think that, and we've seen it, you stand up and you say something's wrong, particularly if you're a woman, and now that's changing, but then it was like, that bitch, that troublemaker, out, in with the next one. We don't need this. And I was like, do I regret standing up for people? Absolutely not. Do I regret speaking my mind? Nope. I would do it all again, and that's, you got to be able to sleep with yourself at night. And it was super disappointing because I wanted to go on with the franchise, but boy, did people get mad. Oh, the kids were so pissed. And then they came back in the 3rd movie and they said, would you consider doing it? And I was like, well, what's the script? What are you doing? And let's have, we had lunch or dinner or something. And they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go back. And this was a really productive meeting. Never heard another word. So, water on the bridge. I'm here and I get to hang with you guys. So obviously I'm holding no grudges. So I don't think they are either.
You should have continued on 2 and 3 because I always see she's like the best April O'Neil.
I love you. I love you. Hey, shout out to Paige Turco. That was, I finally got to meet her. She's really sweet. We met, we have a mutual friend who here is Walking Dead fans? You know Michael Cudlitz? Abraham? Of course. So he had a movie out a couple years ago called The Grief Tourist. I think actually they changed the name. But anyway, so Paige was there, and Paige and I had never met before. We're like, oh my God. And we missed the red carpet, at the same time. So, which would have been a great shot. And so we saw each other and it was like, seeing your long lost sister. And we sat, it was a really tight space when they were having the after party and we sat in a chair, practically on top of each other, sharing a martini. It was great. I have nothing but good things to say about her. Yeah, she was cool. She was cool.
Did you watch the other films in the franchise?
Nope.
Yeah, as long as you stop before 3, then you're doing okay. Yeah.
Here's the deal. You get fired? You gonna go watch that movie? No. That's just human.
Understandable.
Plus, I don't know. It was like, I move on. Moving on, let it be. Maybe someday I will. Yes. I did. You know, it's the weirdest thing. I don't know what happened. They wanted, when they did the first Ninja Turtle movie, the new one, they wanted me to come, and they offered a part, and they said, here, we'd love to have you do this. And I couldn't do it. My schedule and their schedule didn't work out. So with the second one, they're like, we wrote a special part for you. We want you to come. They flew me to New York. They put me up. It was really great. We shot in Times Square, which, I'm sorry, I had a full circle moment because my agent had his office in Times Square. Literally, I could see his old window from where we were sitting in Times Square. And it was 25 years later, or 20, however many years later, like watching the latest version, and it was tremendously cool. They wrote it out. I don't know. I have no idea what that's about. Apparently, it's in the extra scenes or whatever it's called. But it was fun, and I loved her. Will Arnett, everybody. So, I don't know. That's Hollywood. Man, you know, the one thing I learned a long time ago is don't try to figure it out. You'll go insane. Because it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of people making decisions that you cannot. Is there anybody who wants to be an actor? You want to be an actor? Yeah? Voice actor? Good. All right, so let me just give you something. You will face a tremendous amount of rejection. There'll be a tremendous amount of obstacles. There will be things like any profession, really. Just keep going. Last one standing wins. A lot of times things that feel really personal and it feels like it's a rejection or something, it's not. It's actually some decision that's being made in an office that literally has nothing to do with you. There's so many circumstances that are involved in making a movie that have nothing to do with you, and you will end up, as almost every actor has. I would venture to say there are very few who haven't had their work end up on a cutting room floor at some point. So that's what happened there. But boy, that was a great trip to New York. Still get residuals for that. It all worked out.
I love the optimism. I feel like we're learning a lot of good advice here today. Like, take a compliment. You know,
Take a compliment.
Take a compliment.
Is there any... it looks like the next group's going.
No. Well, is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with before we have to wrap it up?
Final thoughts. Oh, man. What do I want to say to you people?
Your pepperoni or non-pepperoni crowd.
No,
this is our...
what do I want to say?
No.
You know what? Okay, this is what I want to say. I'd never been to a Comic-Con before until 3 years ago. And it was my friend Michael Cudlitz who was like, you need to go. People have been asking me for years to come, and I was like, no, I've seen Galaxy Quest. Like, isn't that the last job you do before you die? Like, I'm a working actor, like, I still do this. And he was like, are you kidding me? Like, go meet your fans, go see what this is about. And I went and I was like, this is cool. Like, one of the things that I love about Comic-Cons, it is a chance to fly your freak flag. Like, talk about revenge of the nerds. Talk about, like, you have turned this into a huge industry, and it is so celebrated. And now there are Comic-Cons everywhere. And it's because of you guys. It's because of your, what you love. And when I come here and I see people just like wearing their costumes, doing their cosplay, coming up, and like, for some people, it's really hard to come up and talk to somebody. Like, I've had people come up and cry. I've had people come up and stutter. I've had people who like can't talk at all. And to like tell you a really intimate story about something that, it changed them. There was something that they were going through when they were little and it helped them. I mean, that's so cool. But I also just love celebrating your strangeness and your weirdness and because nobody feels like they fit in. Nobody feels like they're normal. Being normal is vastly overrated. And I love coming to a con. I love seeing people just like embrace their shadow, embrace their inner child, embrace their superpower and their superhero. It's just, how many kids in the room? It's fucking cool.
Heck yeah. Well, I think
I salute you.
Thank you. I think that's the perfect note to end on. Embrace the strange, everybody.
You can't take me anywhere.
Well, you're perfect right here. Thank you so
guys.
much. One more time for Judith Hoag!